Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the buffed Yiming. This, of course, is the Pan-Asian brawler battleship with a very special consumable. Those are Minigumo torps. They do 20,000 alpha damage. We just ate 7 of them and didn't go down. I laugh, but this is extremely bad for the health of the game, especially for torpedo boats. This consumable is going to reduce incoming torp damage by 70%. An absolutely ridiculous number. Effectively, this is a force field out of Star Wars or Star Trek, specifically to counter torpedoes. This is crazy. It allows you to push in and brawl even if you know there are going to be torps coming. You just really don't care that much about it, which is, I think, really bad for the game. This is much worse than a hydro, because a hydro, yeah, you're gonna see where the torps are coming from, but it still means that this Alvaro, who is more than likely going to be torping us, creates a crossfire with the main and Yamato in spawn. I would have to either angle to these torpedoes, risking the broadside to a main and a Yamato, which is not good in a ship like this one with an exposed above water citadel, or I eat the torpedoes. Now here I probably did outrun them. I intentionally slowed down just to prove a point. It's silly. It's ridiculous. This is not okay. But we're taking a look at the buffed Yiming here. If you're wondering about how you get this ship and the monetization, I'll save that for the initial video. You can go back and watch that. I spent most of that video ranting about the monetization of the Lunar New Year event. And I got it all out there. I don't really want to revisit that. Not every video needs to be a negative rant about the monetization. I do need to mention it, though, that this ship is very expensive, and most likely we're going to have to wait until it comes back for a much more reasonable sum, if Wargaming ever decides to do that. Shame on them. This ship has some crazy other consumables, though. This heal lasts for an incredibly long time, but it is a standard heal. It ticks for the same amount as a normal heal would. Think of it like a standard battleship heal extended in duration. Takes a little bit longer to recharge, but that's not too bad. It's a really nice consumable to have if you've eaten a lot of damage and you don't have to tank the enemy team for an extended period of time. Because of that long cooldown, it means that it's not really that much more effective than just having a standard heal. It's not like an Ohio heal with a cooldown of 40 seconds, half of that, so you get the heals back quicker. It's not like a super heal like we would see on a Conqueror, for example, where sure, you get the standard consumable cooldown, but you get back so much HP so quickly that effectively you're getting through more healing faster. So it's a good heal, but it's not a groundbreaking one. It's an interesting consumable to use, but it is not that busted in my opinion. I think it's an interesting quirk of the ship, more so than an incredible strength of it. This ship has 356mm main guns. You might think that that means it's got low pen, and it does compared to other tier 9 and 10 battleships, but we still have more than enough to get through even a Soviet hull. Sun Yat-sen has the Soviet hull here at 11 kilometers. It also means that with 12 356s, the HE here is very, very powerful. And what was the buff to this ship, you may ask? I should have gotten to that a little sooner, my apologies. 3-second reload buff. Yes, the main guns got a 3-second reload buff from what I was playing in that initial video. This means that especially HE spam becomes much more powerful. The HE here retains decent alpha damage. It's got 4,950 alpha damage and a 30% fire chance. This is crucial. Something like Marlborough that also has 356mm main guns. That's a British tier 9 battleship. Focused on a lot of guns and really not much else. The British gimmick, of course, strong HE. That ship gets 5,500 alpha damage on 356s. Okay, so more alpha damage. But the fire chance on Marlborough is only 28%. Yeah, it's got 16 guns. We only have 12, but I think that's really interesting. This is a strong HE spammer where you're getting relatively consistent fires. The alpha damage here is quite respectable into a lot of these angled ships if you get up tiered into super ships, which unfortunately tier 9 does have to deal with from time to time. It's not so bad. These 356s fall off armor piercing wise at longer ranges and certainly into higher tiers, but the HE certainly doesn't. We retain 59mm of pen on this HE, which means a lot of full pens too. It's quite flexible when it comes to the main guns, and this 3-second reload buff is absolutely massive. It goes from being a battleship level reload, kind of feeling like a faster reloading battleship, to more of a battle cruiser feel on these main guns, which is really nice considering, yeah, the AP pen is a little bit lacking. I wish I was in something with a little more pen when a Yamato is this broadside onto us. We'll still aim upper belt though and get some decent pen damage in. This AP is special in that you do actually get better pen angles. It's only 5 degrees better. It's like Petro pen angles, for example, but we'll take that. In some ways, it reminds me a bit of Rhode Island, for example. Not dispersion. Rhode Island's got like battle cruiser dispersion. A lot better in that regard. But in terms of the gun caliber and how the improved pen angles feel, it's pretty nice. Yeah, there's that dispersion. It's still Battleship dispersion. 1.9 Sigma though. In theory, that is going to be pretty good. This game, we are running dispersion mod, but you can run this ship as a secondary build. The secondaries here are quite respectable too. It's a bit of a flexible brawler in that regard. You have good enough main guns, especially with the HE, to play in some of these higher tier games where you just can't push in. We were looking at the Mecklenburg and enjoying that, the ability to brawl when the game lets you. Not trying to force it in every match, but when the matchmaker allows you, you can push up and brawl a little bit and have some fun. I think Yiming gives you some of that feel at tier 9, which I really like it for. Although some of the main gun range may be a limiting factor there. Yeah, 18.6 kilometers range. Not great into some of these super ship games if you want to play a little more standoffish. So what happens if we have to tank some damage? Well, it's still a Vladivostok hull. Okay, it's an above water exposed citadel, but that means that if we stay angled, we tank extremely well. Shockingly small superstructure, great upper belt and deck armor. You're going to shatter a lot of HE. And with the Torp consumable, again, let's get back to that, you aren't going to take that much damage from Torps. One of the weaknesses of playing some of these Soviet battleships is no Hydro. Trying to play more aggressive in them, you're vulnerable to eating a lot of damage from torpedoes. Not so here, assuming you have this Torpedo Forcefield consumable active. It does have a long cooldown time, so it's not the best against carrier torps, which is what Wargaming advertised it for, funnily enough. Low damage, high frequency torps from carriers, you're not going to use it for that. With such a massive alpha damage reduction and long reload on the consumable, much better suited for going after surface ship torpedoes that have, funnily enough, a similar reload to this consumable. Shima torps almost line up exactly with this consumable. Torp boats didn't need any more nerfs. I can't believe this consumable got added to the game. But we're going to play bow in here. We're going to brawl it out. And this time with a full secondary build. Yeah, dispersion is going to suffer in these cases, but you could still get quite lucky. Directly bow on here, trying to use mostly front guns. Having 8 guns up front helps with the shell consistency here. I think the improved pen angle's helping us out here a little bit too. But we're not going to be wanting to using our rear turret in these brawls. Look at how much broadside I just had to give to actually fire that rear turret. We are very exposed to our citadel then. 38-degree forward firing angles, 43-degree kiting angles if you want to shoot all your guns. You don't want to do that in a brawl, so just give up on using those front guns if it's close range battles like this. Go bow on and tank forever. Although if you are planning on brawling and running a secondary build with the ship, if you do happen to get it, again, monetization in this event, not great, but maybe it becomes available down the road. I really hope so, because this event is really not good for it. The secondaries don't have the best firing outs. Improved pan angles, though, helping us to get that Stalingrad Citadel a little bit better. 5 degrees matters a lot when it comes to these specific auto bounce angles. But these secondaries, to fire them forward, you basically need to be giving a 20-degree broadside. And even then, you're only getting 3 of the 5 turrets on a side. If you want to fire everything, you got to give 30 degrees of angle. And at that point, you start risking taking some citadels if they try to go through your bow section. It's perfect auto bounce angles there, but that's where it starts bouncing. And considering the sloping of some of the hulls towards the bow section, you can still take citadels at 30 degrees at these closer ranges. So you notice how little my secondaries are firing right now. Yeah, we got to give it enough broadside to risk some damage if we want to get the value out of these secondaries. It's a little bit tricky to call if we want to do that or not. Here I'm just trying to tank as Taihang and Stalingrad, if I give enough broadside, have some incredibly scary guns. And our turret gets temporarily knocked out. Uh-oh. Okay, well, we'll get the reload in time for the Oh, our turret gets another temporary knockout. This time the gray knockout. That means in the old system, thank goodness we're no longer living with permanently destroyed modules. that turret would have been permanently destroyed. Now, with my build, I'm not running turret HP. I'm, of course, trying to run things like damage control, duration. But our turrets are getting knocked a lot. I was surprised by this. This is like the first time I experienced this. But to be fair, this is the first time I was just trying to bow tank like I would say in a Vladivostok. Very, very, very funny. Frustrating, sure, but also it's kind of funny just to take almost no damage because we have such a small superstructure and our turret's just getting constantly knocked out. It is a problem. Fortunately, they save their reload progress, so yeah, we do manage to get that Citadel, the Confed in this one, and we tank long enough that we make it back to our heal. I think this is a really nice element of Yiming being a solid bow tanker in situations like this. The heal cooldown is longer, so you need to be a tanky ship to actually get back to that heal. And what is this? The most obvious torps in the world? I wasn't paying attention? Ah, that's okay, friend. Just push your Y key and you take no damage. This is why this consumable is so bad, by the way. It promotes you not having to think about where torps are coming from and when. I legitimately was surprised by those torpedoes. Even though I shouldn't be, okay? I just wasn't even thinking about Tai Hang went broadside. He has powerful torps. Didn't even cross my mind. But it didn't matter. I didn't get punished for it. Wargaming, this consumable is ridiculous. This is not okay. This is not okay to have on a ship. Hydro requires some forethought. You actually have to see the torps and dodge them. It's much less of a hard counter compared to this Forcefield, Torpedo Forcefield consumable you get on Yiming. This ship is very powerful at tier 9. It's a solid brawler, very tanky. The secondaries may not pen 32 millimeters, but they light a lot of fires. Their accuracy is right up there with the Schlieffen line, so they're very consistent, especially against DDs and lighter cruisers. 25 millimeters a pen there. The AP and the HE are solid on this ship. The dispersion may let you down from time to time, but considering the reload it got buffed with, it's still going to be very consistent for you. A lot of healing in this one too if you build for those heals. It's a very strong tier 9 battleship. A lot of fun even without this busted new consumable. They could have easily released it without this Torpedo Forcefield, and I wish they had. Speaking of things I wish for, what is the I told you, I tried not to rant about it. We wanted to talk just about the ship in this one, but I gotta say, Wargaming, what is the monetization of this Lunar New Year? Please go back to the way the last 6 months of 2025 was. This ship is essentially over $1,000 US if you want to try and guarantee it from the gambling containers. That's the only way to get it. It's 2 layers of loot boxes, and it's a 1 of 6 drop within that second layer. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe you're still on this gambling only to receive the new content of this update. The rest of this stuff that we're looking at throughout these last few weeks is oftentimes just copy paste of what we already have in the game, tech tree ships. And I think it's a cool event overall. The copy paste stuff, I think there is value to be had in that, but not that much value, not like new content, not exciting like new content is. And for all the new content and the returning dockyard ships, Schroeder and Atlantico, to be locked in gambling multi-layered loot boxes only is simply ridiculous. It's just horrible, horrible monetization practice from Wargaming. Super anti-consumer, and I hate to see it. I really do. I tried my best to not rant about it in this video, but I still have to mention it towards the end of this video here. The Yiming build, though, this is what I was running towards the end. Very greedy, I know. Very greedy. I was trying to maximize my reload alongside running a secondary build here, using this consumable or this upgrade here to get back to our consumables a little bit quicker if there are planes in the area. And of course, gunfeeder, because we want to use both HE and AP here. With reload mod, getting a sub 24 second reload feels pretty good. A little bit of AR alongside close quarters combat, you get sub 20 second reload very, very quickly. And it feels pretty good. The dispersion trolls you from time to time, but considering the reload, not too bad. Alongside a very tanky ship. It's going to survive a long time if you keep it angled. Here's the towards the end build. You can always just swap this for aiming systems if you want to go for a more hybrid focused build. This is the maximum dispersion buff you're going to get, so pretty easy to just swap between them there, running similar builds on the commander. I might actually, if I'm running that, not go for close quarters combat, maybe go with concealment, or better yet, fire prevention, perhaps, to help us against those fires. Here is your armor profile on this ship. If you don't get this ship, which I'm assuming most of you won't, again, the monetization is horrible. I mean, nobody should be spending $1,000 just to try and get a new ship. It's crazy. But here is the Citadel, okay? Very, very exposed. Above water, only 370 millimeters here, which is decent enough, but battleships at this tier are certainly getting through that quite easily. Battle cruisers as well. So you got to watch out the amount of broadside you give. And you're going to have to give a lot of broadside to shoot all your main guns. As the ranges get closer, I recommend closing that angle, and you'll be surprised at just how long you can survive in this ship. Overall, Yiming is quite good. It's solid, fun, brawler, tier 9 battleship. It's just unfortunate that it comes with the worst monetization I think Wargaming has ever had. Worse than even the first half of 2025. Brutal stuff. And it comes in with, I think, one of the worst consumables they've ever decided to add to the game. Lack of counterplay for those poor destroyers. Torpedoes, they have it tough these days. They did not need to have to deal with this consumable yet. Absolutely crazy. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below about Yiming and its buff here. Tried to do a little bit more gameplay focused on Yiming, because again, I did rant pretty long about the monetization in the initial coverage of this ship, and it didn't do it justice. We needed to actually talk about this ship today, which I do think it's pretty solid. Just, man, what a bad event. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.